cannot get over how good these turned out. First of all, you guys, before we get into today's video, tell me what you think of the quality of the video and the audio. This is the DJI Action 4 camera. I was using a GoPro 10 Black for the longest time, like 3 years, maybe even longer. And I just felt like it was time to upgrade. I watched a video the other night of someone who had this camera, and it just looked really good in the POV. So decided to make the upgrade. They are just releasing the 5, the newer one. So this one is a little bit cheaper. And yeah, everything that I saw online, man, it looked really good. So hopefully I'm happy with it, and it'll improve the quality of the POVs. Not that they were like bad by any means, but you know, the quality is just insane on these newer ones. So today's question for you guys, and I'll talk about my opinion on this, is, you know, which subgenre of the car community do you belong to? And I thought this would be an interesting topic because honestly, this changed for me multiple times throughout the, God, how long has it been? Let's see, 16, 17, 18, 19, it's been 24, I've been doing this for 24 years. That's how long I have been working on cars, racing cars, driving cars, being a part of car communities. 24 freaking years, dude. And don't do the math. I'm old. I'm super old. If you look at cars and like why we get into them and what draws us to cars, it's always different little subgenres in the entire car community. Whether it be, you know, drag racing or show cars or road racing, track racing, things of that nature. Even like, you know, detailing. There's all of these little tiny communities involved in related to cars. And I think that we all initially start out in a certain area with cars that we prefer. For me, it was definitely more drag racing when I was 16 years old and I first started working on these cars and driving them and like building them up. For back then, you know, building them up was a lot different than what it is today. But, you know, I was building these cars and I was going to the drag strip in Racine, Wisconsin. When I lived in the Midwest, we had a little drag strip out there, and that was where we used to go every weekend and drag race our cars. My car was doing a 15-second quarter mile in my Acura Integra and my Honda Civic. So, yeah, not very fast. And my goal was to get those cars to 13-second quarter miles. Can't remember if I ever got there, but we were only dealing with a couple hundred horsepower back then, so everything was really about weight, trying to get those cars as light as possible. So drag racing is a big part of it, right? And I don't think that I've ever like necessarily gotten out of drag racing. Do I still drag race myself personally? No, not really. It's just not that appealing to me. However, I do obviously work with a company that is huge in drag racing, and a lot of our clients' cars are built for drag racing, built for roll racing, a lot of like straight line speed type stuff. So I have a bit of knowledge doing that just because I sort of came from that background and I still work in it, and I'm still aware of the products and what it takes for certain platforms and engines to get to certain mile per hours and quarter mile times and things of that nature. And so I'm still heavily involved, but in terms of like interest, it's not really like an interest of mine to go out and like drag race anymore. I don't know, I just grew out of it. It's just not for me anymore. Definitely more into like the road racing and like track racing stuff, but even at that rate, like I'm not really that diehard with that stuff either. I do love it. I do have an appreciation for literally all driving. It doesn't matter what it is. Well, in a second here, we'll talk more about like what I'm really into right now. And then of course, like the show side of things, again, not really into the car shows as much anymore. Definitely used to be. Loved, like when I first got my BMW and, you know, was doing a lot of aesthetic stuff, I would go to a lot of shows. And even back in my Honda days, I went to a lot of shows. And shows are drastically different nowadays than they were back then. And if you know me locally here in Charlotte, you'll see me out at a lot of different events, kind of hanging out. But I'm not like building show cars anymore, you know, like I kind of stopped doing that a long time ago. And then of course you have like the detailing community, which I guess is a little bit different because you're not like using the car for something like you would like track show or like drag, but it is still a part of the car community, I think. But I'll be honest with you, you know, as I've gotten older, it's been less and less about what I can do with the car And it's been more and more about what I can build the car into, or, you know, how I can recondition the car, or really just bring the car back to life and save a car. I've sort of just stepped back from a lot of the racing side of things and like tracking side of things and show side of things, really just all of those different communities. I've sort of like not removed myself. I've just sort of gotten more interested in other parts of this. And so that's kind of why I've gravitated towards just more of like the building and the wrenching and the designing and like the visions and stuff like that. It's not like I don't drive my cars, guys. I drive all of my cars all the time. Literally every day, all week, every weekend, I'm driving my cars. It's not that I don't enjoy them. It's just that I've become more and more involved in other things in this community. And when I do have any free time, I just sort of prefer to spend that time like with my family and my fiance and like, you know, her family and things outside of cars. You know what I mean? When cars become your job, you know, it sort of changes your perspective. Like, I love what I do. I'm very, very grateful to be able to do what I do. Basically, everything I do revolves around cars, which is awesome because I've built that for myself, and I love it. Like, I'm so grateful for this life. But with that being said, when your primary job has to do with all things cars, any sort of free time that you have, you kind of like take a step back from the cars and just want to do other things. And so that's sort of what I've seen myself like gravitate towards over the years. Like, as I've gotten older and like my perspective has changed with a lot of things, I've just sort of stepped back from a lot of like the going to car shows all the time and go to the races and tracking and mountain driving and all this stuff. And again, you guys, I like to do it. I love doing it. It's awesome, and I wish I could do more of it, but my focus has just been sort of in other places. And when I am intensely focused, it's, you know, intensely focused on building up the cars or helping out the customers or doing what I can do at my shop at CES Motorsport, helping those guys out. Like, it's just, this job has really evolved into a magnitude of things, and I love it. Like I said before, man, like, this is the best job in the world. I work for me. I'm on my own schedule, and I get to show other people how to succeed when it comes to this industry, and I get to help people and offer advice. And yeah, it's an amazing career. And look at you, buddy. Look at you, buddy. We're on to you. So anyways, I just thought it would be interesting to talk a little bit about that. I'm actually really curious to see, like, all the people who follow me, like, what part of cars are you into? Are you into tracking cars? Are you into drag racing cars? Are you into street racing? Are you into roll racing? Are you into shows? Are you just doing it for a hobby? Do you do it for, like, professionally? Like, are you a YouTuber? Like, do you make content on cars? Like, what part of cars are you really involved in? I'm interested. Drop the comments down below. Tell me what you think. Anyways, we are on our way to the shop today. Got a bunch of work we got to get done before Labor Day weekend. And before I go to the shop, I got to stop at Prince Wheels because my M5 wheels are done. They are ready for pickup. Dude, I cannot wait to see these. Man, what a nightmare it has been to get M5 wheels on this car. I definitely overspent, did this the worst way possible. You know, oh man. In retrospect, like, if I could go back, I would have just done like a staggered set and kept it simple, bought them used, already finished in decent condition, and just sent it. But, you know, me being me, I'm like, oh, I gotta do like a square setup, something a little bit different, something more aggressive, and I gotta make them perfect, so I'm gonna have them repowder coated. I ended up like buying these used ones that were in really bad condition for like $2,500 shipped, which is honestly way too much for them. And I think for Style 65 wheels, and like, they were completely trashed. Turns out 2 of them were cracked. 1 of them were chrome, and so the powder coating shop like couldn't even use the chrome one because they don't want to deal with stripping the chrome off because it's too big of a pain in the ass, and they don't know how the powder is gonna, I guess powder coating when it comes to like chrome can do weird things. So I had to get a replacement for that wheel. And then the two red ones that you guys saw in the other video were actually cracked, so they had to repair one of them. One of them was cracked beyond repair, so and the guy just basically stopped responding to me, so I lost like $400 or $500 on that. Yeah, dude, I got taken for a ride for sure. Like, all things in, man. Like, if you guys look at, let me give you a total cost of what Style 65 wheels, like with tires. I mean, mind you, they're gonna be like perfect condition and like a squared set of rears, like, which is pretty cool to have. On this car, it's gonna cost me, let's see, 25, 35. With tires, probably about $5 grand. Oh man, I fucked up. I definitely fucked up. I definitely overspent. I didn't need to spend that much. I probably could have gotten, I should have just gone for like a staggered set in like decent condition for like 1,500 bucks. You know what I mean? And like been cool with it. I definitely didn't need what I'm doing to this car. But you live and you learn, man. There's definitely times where I have like gone down the rabbit hole with a lot of these builds and like overspent in certain things, and then you learn and you're like, damn it, never doing that again. So, well, whatever. But hey, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have a perfect set of Style 65s, all rears. And yeah, hopefully they turned out good, man. I've seen their examples of what they can do before with this powder coating, and I'm excited to see what they look like. Sheesh, look at how good these turned out. Man, these look amazing. Like, they really did match the shadow chrome on the Style 65s. These are gonna look so good. I may have overpaid, but at least they look phenomenal. Chill, dude. Chill, bro.
Choking on some meat, huh?
Chill, bro. Something like that.
I need some water. Yo, that wastegate is so close to the chassis.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We're gonna have to
We're gonna move that
angle.
Yeah, we're gonna change the angle of it.
Yep. We might have to cut off the flange off and redo it and bring it back this way. So that means we may have to take the whole thing apart.
Yeah. Fuck, that's crazy. Ooh, another S55 build. Cannot get over how good these turned out. So let's go ahead and ceramic coat.
Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Yeah. Always had a way to make it work and find another another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route.